Hello and welcome to Everyday Champions in Business, presented by Action Coach Dane County. Action Coach is the world's #1 business coaching company, and this is your opportunity to hear the stories, the tips, and the insider information that makes business and entrepreneurship the greatest game on the planet. I'm Rob Maniaci, enrollment specialist with Action Coach Dane County, and today it's my pleasure to introduce Shalicia Johnson. Good morning, Shalicia. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Rob?
I'm doing great. Um,
Awesome.
listen, I'm excited for this interview. Why don't you just start by telling us the name of your company, how many employees you have, if any, how long you've been in business, that sort of thing, just the top level info.
Awesome. ArrowStar Photography, which was named after my dog, Arrow. And I've been in business for 7 years, but I've been self-employed for about 18 months.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just me. Oh, and Dr. G back here.
Well, hey, congratulations on going full time. How do you describe the business when people ask ArrowStar Photography? What do you do? Tell me about it.
Well, I wear kind of three hats in my business. My first is I'm a boutique portrait photographer, so I create wall portraits for the home, like the what you see behind here. I specialize in child, family, and pet portraiture. And then I also do business portraits or headshots for individuals and for like your group, your company. And then I do a lot of different types of corporate events.
Okay, so corporate, portraits, kids and family, and what'd you call the first one?
Oh, boutique. I'm a boutique portrait
Oh, yeah,
photographer. Yep.
boutique.
So yeah, I specialize in making heirloom quality artwork for the home. So
Uh-huh.
it's meant to be, people are always like, what does heirloom quality mean? But it's meant to be passed down throughout your generations of your family.
Got it. Thank you. So tell us about that. You did this as a side hustle for a while and finally went part or full time.
Yes, I was an early childhood educator for 28 years. And I started this in 2017, literally to get gas money and groceries without bouncing my checkbook. So I was like, hmm, what could I do? And so I'm like, I'm going to become a photographer. So I literally Googled how to do it legally. And then all of a sudden I was a part-time photographer. And then my business has grown exponentially since 2017.
How has your equipment evolved over those years?
Oh, it's a lot better. I did get my first DSLR in 2012. But now I'm up to, let's see, I had my entry level, that one. I'm on my fourth camera. I use cameras 3 and 4 all the time. One's mirrorless and then the other one's a DSLR, but that one doesn't know it's getting upgraded.
Ah,
Like the next upgrade that I can do of equipment, it's going to be the one I wear on my left hip.
okay. So full time for the last 18 months, you've proven this is a viable business. You can support yourself. What's the long-term vision? What's ArrowStar going to look like 3, 5 years down the road?
Gosh, so it's just me, and I would love to be able to get to where I can hire an assistant. Um, there's a lot of work in post-production, obviously, that people don't get to see, and that's hours and hours. It's staying up in the middle of the night, it's getting up really early, and it's sitting in front of a computer. And so just trying to keep that part in balance because you're sitting all the time and that's not really healthy. So there's that whole aspect. So I would love to be able to hire an assistant or at least a social media manager because that's a pain point for me. Um, and also I would love to have a charitable arm of ArrowStar Photography. I've actually donated $15,000 to charity since 2021, but that's through my portraiture. So I'm doing the work to bring that money in. And then, like I said, it's the time in post-production. And so I would like to, I don't know quite yet. I have a meeting with the Lawn Entrepreneurship Clinic in October, and it's to see, is that going to be a nonprofit? Is it an endowment? Is it like a fund? I don't know the terms. So that's my vision for to have that fully established and growing within 5 years. But that's about it. Hopefully, like having a plus one, having another employee, and then have the charitable portion up and running because philanthropy is really important to me. And it would be a way for the community to help my business give back and give back on the health behalf of the community without me doing all that legwork and
Great.
devoting my time to that.
Yeah, great. A couple of things to shoot for in the short term. Tell us back to the business of the three buckets you described. what drives the business right now? What are you doing more of?
So I feel like events is probably about 40% of my income, but the other part is the wall art that I create for families. That's really important to me. I do high school seniors. I kind of include seniors in the child and family. And that is very low volume and very high touch. And so that piece of my business is a pretty big driver of my success.
Okay. And who's your ideal client? There may be more ways to answer this. Who's the sweet spot target market that drives the business, that pays the bills?
Pays the bills, my target market. It's families with young children that also have expendable income and families that are also busy and they just need like not to think of the next thing. And so I solve that problem for them by being a one-stop shop because a lot of people, I'm not a digital file photographer. I don't allow people to print my work. And so a lot of people are used to the digital file model where they have these images and now they want them on the wall or they don't quite know what to do with them or where to go, but they can you be like, can you help me?
Yeah.
Like, I'll help you from start to finish, and do all those things in between. They don't have to worry about where it's getting printed, where it's going to go. I do all that for them. And
Uh,
so, um, the people that want to leave the decision making to somebody else because
yeah.
they're either business owners or they're just very successful in their business and they spend a lot of time in their business. That's something that I can take off of their plate for them.
Yeah, so you're leading right into the next question. Like philosophically speaking, what is the real problem you're solving for your clients? What is the real value you're delivering?
Yeah, that is probably in the way that I take care of all of the things. I would actually go into my clients' homes or have them send me pictures of their walls of where they're maybe considering having pieces of artwork. I do albums also, so that wouldn't necessarily go on the wall. But if you want a family portrait and you don't know what size to get, or if you want something in your child's room that's like kind of like a hero piece or an empowering piece for their child, I can come and help find what a good location would be. And then also there might be little like nooks and crannies in your home that you don't quite think of that I would look at it because in this aspect I work kind of in the interior design space, and so I would find a place to put something that you maybe never
Uh,
would think of.
yeah,
And so I think I solved that pain point of them just being like, can you just take care of it? I will do that. And then
yeah,
also if it's a portrait, like a business portrait or a high school senior, I also help people with their self-esteem and their self-worth because we are our own worst critics, especially women, looking at ourselves, comparing ourselves. And so I like to get to know my clients and bring out who they are and help them take the most flattering portrait of themselves. And so in that way, I help with self-worth, self-esteem, self-concept. And so maybe people don't know it's a problem until they come and I'm sitting there talking to them and then their insecurities come out. And it's a really intimate experience actually
yeah,
being able to photograph somebody. I think that's a privilege. And so because all your stuff is right in front of the camera, right? The camera doesn't lie. So I need to figure out you know, where your problems with yourself lie. Sometimes it's my chin, it's my flabby arms, it's my this. And so I always help them with that, especially if it's a high school senior. And this crop of high school seniors, COVID took over the majority of their high school career.
yeah.
So I like to empower those kids too. But anybody that comes in for a portrait, you're going to walk away with your best self represented. So that's another way that I help solve some problems.
Yeah, that is great. Really, that's what we're looking for there. It sounds really rewarding. It's way beyond an image you're creating,
Yes,
really collaborating with and building up the folks that you serve.
absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Well, you mentioned that it's not just making pictures, it's the production work and the social media. I bet you could work at this 24/7, 365 if you wanted to. How does Shalicia maintain the elusive work-life balance?
I know that's funny. I used to feel like I would look at my calendar, and if there was a hole, I'd be like, oh, okay, I can take that. I can do that job because there's nothing on my calendar right here. And I sometimes step back. Now I'm getting better at it. I step back and say, that is the only time of this week that I'm not booked and busy from sun up to sundown. And I need to outweigh, or I need to weigh the pros and cons of income versus rest and peace. Not rest in peace, but rest and peace. Um, because I heard a saying once that if you don't take time for your wellness, you will be forced to make time for your illness.
Mm.
And or one or the other. Make time or
Oh,
take time. Either way. Um, and that's really hit home now that I'm like getting older and I am running my business by myself. So when I see those gaps in my schedule, I will literally put do not book anything so I can take a nap. I
yeah.
can float in my friend's pool. I can do any of the thing that I want, but it's not involving anything that has to do with work. So,
Sure.
but I do have to be very cognizant of that and actually make the time for rest.
Yeah. Build that margin intentionally and stick with it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So you mentioned COVID and going from part-time to full-time. What's the biggest challenge you've had to overcome?
Not having any money. Like, it's a funny taxes and self-employment. That is a funny thing. And
Mm,
so I've outgrossed what I would have made teaching.
hmm
And I still feel like I don't have any money. So
hmm
really kind of figuring that out. And then my next step would be to become an S Corp so that, I'm an employee of my business. And
hmm
then I save on that that 15.3% self-employment tax. But that's a struggle. And then just doing it all by myself. And I do it by myself. There's some things that I can do for a trade. Like I have no problem trading with other businesses that can I do a service for them and then they can do this for me in turn. Like trades are wonderful in our community.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's just being running everything by myself. And also I'm neurospicy. So my neurodevelopmental disorder affects my memory. So I forget to hit send on emails, or I responded to your text in my head, but I never actually like wrote anything. So things like that are challenging, just being neurodivergent. So that's one big thing that I personally have to overcome. But
Yeah.
yeah, just the money isn't like rolling in. I'm doing well, but the part that I'm taking home myself, I gotta like tweak that a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So it's always financial and then just finding help where I need it. Those are the challenges that I have.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the candid response. Let's shift gears and go to some rapid fire questions. So
Okay.
in this case, we want your best short, quick responses,
Okay.
okay? Who has been a champion in your life? Someone you either really admire or someone who's really helped you get where you are today?
Well, beside my mommy, my business coach, Sarah Petty,
Thank you. What is your key to success?
having a network of support.
Uh-huh. And how about a must-read book?
Dare to Lead by Brene Brown.
Thank you. Someone's just starting out in business. What's your word of advice to that person?
Get a mentor.
Hmm Good. And then where can we find you online, Shalicia?
You can find me everywhere at ArrowStar Photography, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and then also my Google page.
All right. Thank you. Nice job on the rapid fire. Two more questions to go. One, is there an offer you'd like to throw out there for the folks watching the video?
Yes, so I will do a 2-for-1 headshot if you come in for a headshot or business portrait. And also, if you book a family session, I will waive your $200 session fee.
All right. Two very generous offers there. 2-for-1 headshot and waive the session fee for a family portrait. Just mention the Action Coach video.
Yes.
Awesome. Last question, Shalicia. All topics are wide open. It doesn't necessarily have to be photography. What is most inspiring to you these days?
People who persevere in the face of adversity or like just troubling times when things seem to be crumbling all around and people just pull themselves up and keep going. I think that is so admirable. And
Mhm.
hopefully when that happens to me, when those downtimes come, that I can just
Mhm.
take a breath and have people that can help me get through that.
Yeah. I mean, without naming names, is someone or an event coming to mind that you think of when you mention that overcoming adversity and perseverance?
Um, Nothing, like, generally speaking, I'm a Black business owner, and we know that Black business owners have a higher rate of failure. But Black businesses, I should say, have a higher rate of failure, and the dollar doesn't circulate very long in Black communities. So for me, it's watching other Black businesses thrive, because in this climate, that's not always the case.
Yeah, great. Yeah, appreciate that very much. And we appreciate you being our guest on Everyday Champions in Business. As a thank you, we are going to send you a copy of this book, How to Be a Champion Every Day,
Awesome.
authored by the author, Super Bowl winning quarterback and MVP, Joe Theismann. So keep an eye out for that.
That
So
is awesome.
yeah, this has been great. Thanks for being our guest. We appreciate you. We wish you much prosperity and success.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, Rob.
My pleasure.